First off, like every other update post, I would like to say thank you to all the people who have tried to help me and given me advice. It really makes me feel like I'm not alone in this and that you're all behind me, helping me get through this. Now, I want to explain what happened in chronological order, so I will tell you what happened after the first night that I saw this thing. After my sister came home, she panicked as I told her what happened. She, like me, gets scared extremely easily. I once walked into the house to find her with the wooden stick that we used to lock the back door in her hands, ready to attack. So after I told her, naturally, she didn't want to leave the basement. We hid in the laundry room for about an hour until she was ready to leave. We thought about calling the cops, but I knew they wouldn't be able to find it. There was no chance that it would be that easy, but my sister insisted. I called the cops and told them that there was someone in my house. They sent one officer, a short and somewhat lanky guy. He told me his name, but I, in a panic state, didn't hear and wasn't quite bothered to ask. He looked around the house and found nothing out of the ordinary. No forced entry, no suspicious activity in the complex, nothing. Right when he was leaving, he bent down onto my lawn and picked up something. "Is this yours?" he asked. He handed me a key to my house. He looked at my sister and she looked confused. My mom had only made 3 copies for our house. I had one on a keychain hung up against the door. My sister pulled hers out of her pocket, and I knew my mom had hers as it was attached to her car keys. Almost instantaneously, a chill went down my spine. This thing had a key to my house. It had entry to my home. The following day, my mother came home. Or so I thought. Me and my sister were gathering our things as we were both sleeping at a friend's house. I walked into the living room, where there was still no furniture, and called the flooring guys to come. It was perfect. The day that I leave is the day that the new floors were getting put in. I wouldn't have to deal with all the stress on top of what had already happened. I texted my friend to tell him that I'd be there soon when I heard the door open. I looked and saw a figure walk in, back facing towards me. "Mom?" I called out. "Yes, honey?" she replied. I was confused. She had called me the night before telling me that she was staying an extra 2 days. Why was she here? And then it struck me. What if that wasn't my mom? I thought about walking up to it and trying to see its face. But then what? That wouldn't do much good, as I didn't know what it was capable of. I stood there, frozen. I had no idea what I was going to do. She kept walking backwards, dragging 2 bags with her. Once she turned the corner, she opened the cupboard that was hanging along the wall and started putting something inside. I was too afraid to talk to it, but I didn't want to take my eyes off of it either. I could hear my sister packing downstairs where she slept. I was surprised that she was able to go down there herself. And then I thought to myself, if it knew I saw it last night, why was it still here? Why is it still trying to deceive me? My mom emptied the bags and closed the cupboard. I sucked up some courage and attempted to talk to it. "What are you doing?" I asked, rather quickly. "Nothing," it replied. As I asked, I simultaneously texted my mom and asked her where she was. I was hoping she didn't take as long as usual to respond. I thought to myself, if that was my mom, what would I say? I wanted to act as normal as possible. "I'm going to Taylor's in a bit. I might stay for dinner." "That's nice," it replied. Now I knew for sure it wasn't my mother. My mom would ask about 50 questions and ask me to text her when I got there and when I got back. As I received a text message, it spoke again. "Let's watch Deliverance from Evil tonight." Me and my mom had this conversation the week before. She asked me if I wanted to see it, and I said maybe. When I decided I wanted to go, I texted her and we left. It must have only heard the first conversation and assumed we hadn't already gone. "I know you love scary movies." It was almost as if it was trying to convince me that the woman standing in the hallway was my mother. It was learning about me, my mom, my whole family. "Maybe," I said. That was the usual response from me. "Okay, I'm going to the giant tiger." It walked backwards into the front hall again and off it went. My mom loved the giant tiger. It was her favorite store. As she left, I read the message I had received. It was my mom. "At Ruth's. Why?" Ruth was my aunt, her sister. I was right. That thing was not my mother. I nervously called Alex upstairs and told her what happened. She didn't say anything, her eyes only widened. She ran downstairs, grabbed her things, and we were off. She dropped me off at Taylor's and looked me dead in the eye. Please be safe. Text me the entire time. I smiled. Me and my sister may have been siblings, but we never really got along. This made me realize how much she actually cared about me. I will. You too. Taylor had long brown hair that passed his forehead. He wore a hat, an orange sweater, and jeans. His hair was usually quite long, as he was too lazy to get a haircut all the time. He was quite the badass, and had his right ear pierced and an eyebrow piercing. It worked on him. I walked inside his house, and we immediately went to the basement and started playing Xbox. We played Call of Duty Zombies for hours. This really took my mind off things, but I still couldn't fully focus. I couldn't stop thinking about if I should tell him what happened or not. I decided against it, as I just wanted to try to have a peaceful night. We played some more video games, had a few hot dogs, and put on a movie. We were home alone, which worried me, but I had my best friend with me. I was fine. I was showing him my favorite part in the movie The Faculty, where Elijah Woods, Casey, and Jordana Brewster, Delilah, were hiding in the closet and witnessed one of their teachers being converted into an alien. I don't know how to phrase this correctly, but if you've seen the movie, you know what I'm talking about. The teacher had a slug shoved down her ear, and just like that, she was taken over. The alien controlled her. She was no longer who she used to be. How ironic, watching a movie so similar to what had happened to me. Thinking someone is who they say they are until you realize something much more sinister happened. As the scene progressed, I had a horrible feeling in my stomach, almost as if I could sense something was about to happen. Taylor got up and said he had to go to the bathroom. He's leaving me alone? I don't want to be alone. He got up and left, and as he did, I got a text. It was my sister. I thought she was just checking up on me, but I was wrong. Please tell me you're outside Alicia's right now. Please? My body became numb. Whatever my sister was seeing was probably what I saw last night. I'm at Taylor's. Are you sure it's me? Are the doors locked? Doors are locked, and you or it is just standing outside in a bush, staring at me, but I can see your face and it looks normal. She was responding instantly. I knew she was scared, and I was too. Is Alicia with you? Yes, but she doesn't see it. It's smiling. I'm fucking scared, Charlie. Charlie is my name, by the way, but that doesn't really matter. Why couldn't she see it? As soon as I read the text, Taylor came back downstairs. I hadn't heard a toilet flush or a sink turn on. Something was wrong. It seemed darker in the basement we were in, and he looked different. His face seemed fine. Eyes, nose, everything was where it was supposed to be. I couldn't tell what was different. Then I saw it. Taylor's eyebrow and ear piercing were gone. It wasn't Taylor. This wasn't my friend. This thing was back, and it had followed me. It was harassing me and my sister. There was more than one, and they followed us. I didn't say anything. It walked toward me and sat down in the chair beside me. I got another text from Alex. In the midst of realizing that the person in front of me was not my friend, I noticed my phone had 5 missed calls. Someone tried calling you, it said. It was smiling, but its voice sounded calm. I looked at it, its teeth spreading from one end to the other. Oh, it was my sister. I'll be right back. I grabbed my phone and calmly walked up the stairs. I could feel its eyes watching me as I walked away. 6 missed calls now, all from my sister. Something was terribly wrong. I locked myself in the bathroom and I called her. I wasn't even worried about the thing in the basement. I knew she was in danger. Alex, what's wrong? Alicia isn't fucking home. She's in fucking Florida with her family. She just texted me. I couldn't believe it. Alex was in a house alone with that thing for hours. Charlie, what the fuck do I do? I'm running down the street. I don't know where I am. Fuck. Knock on someone's door and tell them it's an emergency. She was bawling her eyes out. I could sense the terror in her voice. No one is answering their door. The street is fucking empty. I was panicking. My sister was in danger. I wasn't even thinking about my own situation. I wasn't even saying anything to her. She just kept on screaming for help, telling me that there was no one there. How is that possible? How could no one hear her? Finally, I could hear the relief in her voice. Okay, I found 3 guys in their parking lot. I told them someone had a gun and they were chasing me. They're calling the cops. Holy fuck, Alex. Please stay with them and go inside. We stayed on the phone with each other until the cops arrived. She cried the entire time. She was safe. Thank God. She told me that she'd call after the cops questioned her about what happened. I hung up smiling. She was safe. She wasn't dead. She got out. She got out. That thought stayed in my head until I realized that I was still in danger. I hadn't even thought to tell her. I exited the bathroom and peeked down the basement stairs. I could still see Taylor sitting in the chair, but I could only see his feet. I ran upstairs and found the real Taylor in the kitchen cooking a bowl of leftover Kraft dinner. He could see the fear in my eyes. I checked his ear and eyebrow, and the piercings were there. This was my friend, not the thing downstairs. "We need to get the fuck out of this house," I quietly said. "Why?" "Just fucking trust me." He smiled as if it were a game. He thankfully played along and followed me out of the house without looking back. As we ran down the street barefoot, he could tell something was wrong, and I could tell he became scared. We ran across the street until we got to our local McDonald's. We panted for a good minute until he asked what was wrong. I didn't know if I should tell him. Would he believe me? My brain overflowed with questions. How many were there? How could anyone help me and my sister? How can I trust anyone? Some other shit went down, but this post has been long enough. I'll update more when I get the chance. Sorry if there are any mistakes or anything seems confusing. I may have left some things out. I wrote this in a hurry, so feel free to ask any questions. Until next time.